Week 3 of the 2022 college football season is in the books. That means it's time to rank the top 25 teams in the nation. I'm Steven Lasson of All CFB 365. Please be sure to subscribe and check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at All CFB 365. Before we get into the top 25, let's take a look at a couple teams who just missed the rankings this week. As always, we'll remind everyone about our criteria. We try to respect head-to-head as best as we can, taking into account sort of our Vegas-style power rankings, who would be the best team on a neutral field, also taking into account our preseason predictions and rankings. And as the season goes along, those are removed and we put more results into our rankings. So this is our look at the best 25 teams in college football, considering that formula. And as you can see on the screen there are some teams that just missed this weekend that certainly have a strong argument to be in the top 25. Oregon State at 3-0. Also, Minnesota, Syracuse, Washington State, undefeated teams who could certainly make a case to be ranked in the top 25. Will be interesting to see what happens with LSU and Texas A&M going forward. Texas A&M picked up a big win against Miami. LSU knocked off Mississippi State. Curious to see where these two teams go from here, to see if they get back in the top 25. Texas A&M gets Arkansas next week, so we'll find out right away if the Aggies can work their way back into the top 25 next week. The first range of teams starts with Cincinnati at 25. The Bearcats got off to a slow start against Miami of Ohio, but pulled away for a 38-17 victory. Florida State checks in at 24. This is the first time we've had the Seminoles in our top 25 this year. It's the first time Florida State is 3-0 since 2015. A great job by Mike Norvell and that coaching staff. Florida State lost its starting quarterback, Jordan Travis, its best defensive player, and Jared Verse in that game on Friday night against Louisville, and still found a way to win. Appalachian State checks in at 23. What a crazy finish, but the Mountaineers knocking off Troy at the last second on a Hail Mary. Florida drops in our rankings despite having the head-to-head victory over Utah. The Gators struggled to beat South Florida, and also quarterback Anthony Richardson struggled through the air. Once again, had just 112 passing yards, also had 2 interceptions, including one in the end zone. A good win for Texas at number 21, beating UTSA. The Roadrunners are one of the top teams in Conference USA. Not to mention, Texas was shorthanded, no Quinn Ewers, but they still found a way to win. The next range of teams in 20 through 16 is highlighted by Washington at number 16. The Huskies join our rankings after a convincing 11-point victory over Michigan State on Saturday night. Kalen DeBoer, the new head coach there, has this offense among the most improved in college football. Quarterback Michael Penix threw for 397 yards. Also want to highlight Ole Miss at number 19. The Rebels join our rankings this week. Ole Miss was kind of a mystery coming into this week. They had 2 wins over opponents that they were expected to beat and did, but they took care of business, beating Georgia Tech 42-0 on Saturday. Also, Wake Forest at 20 needed a last-second stop on a 2-point play to beat Liberty. We'll see about the Demon Deacons going forward. They get Clemson next Saturday in a huge ACC showdown. Let's go out west for the next range of teams. We have BYU checking in at 15. The Cougars lost 41-20 at Oregon. The Ducks check in at 14. I think Oregon was undervalued last week after losing by 46 to Georgia in the season opener. Georgia is just that good this season, and Oregon got 5 touchdowns out of Bo Nix and a strong defensive effort to coast to a 41-20 victory. We also have Utah, who's now won back-to-back dominant victories after losing to Florida in the season opener. Oklahoma State cruised against Arkansas Pine Bluff, winning 63-7. Penn State jumps to number 11 after a dominant road victory at Auburn. The defense made some big plays. Also, running back Nick Singleton, the true freshman, continues to have a breakout year. So the Nittany Lions at 3-0, 2 quality road victories at Purdue and at Auburn to start the season. 3 teams from the SEC highlight our next range of teams in the top 25. Tennessee beat Akron 63-6. The Volunteers check in at number 10. A huge showdown against Florida next week in the SEC East. Kentucky posted its first shutout since 2009 by beating Youngstown State 31-0 on Saturday. Still need to see more out of Kentucky's running game and offensive line, but quarterback Will Levis threw for over 300 yards and another great defensive effort from the Wildcats. Oklahoma checks in at number 8. The Sooners beat Nebraska 49-14. Oklahoma got off to a slow start, but after that it was all Oklahoma, rushing for 312 yards. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel, another standout performance. Arkansas checks in at number 7. The Razorbacks had to sweat a lot more than most anticipated as former coach Bobby Petrino led Missouri State into Fayetteville. Missouri State put up a heck of a fight, but Arkansas eventually was able to get the victory. KJ Jefferson had over 400 total yards. The ground game for the Razorbacks, led by running back Rocket Sanders, came through as well. A very timely punt return. So Arkansas moves to 3-0. We'll keep them in the top 10 despite the close call against Missouri State. The Razorbacks get Texas A&M next Saturday. USC checks in at number 6. USC has scored over 40 points in each of its first 3 games, beating Fresno State 45-17 on Saturday night. The top 5 stays the same as last week. Clemson checks in at number 5. They beat Louisiana Tech 48-20. We'll see what Clemson has in store coming up because they get Wake Forest followed by NC State, 2 crucial games within the ACC coming up. Michigan at number 4 has defeated its first 3 opponents by a combined score of 166-17. Coach Jim Harbaugh's team has been dominant through the first 3 weeks of the year. Ohio State at number 3 put up over 700 yards of offense against Toledo. The Buckeyes also check in at 3-0. And number 1, Georgia went on the road and dominated South Carolina 48-7. As expected, Alabama beat ULM convincingly 63-7. That's our top 25 teams after week 3 of the college football season. Be sure to leave your top 25 in the comments. Would love to check those out. I'm Steven Lasson of All CFB 365. Please be sure to subscribe and check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at All CFB 365.